Before humans carved stone, before the first empires rose, our ancestors sat around fires, staring into the infinite darkness above. They saw strange lights wander among the stars and asked a question that echoes through millennia. Are we truly alone? Today, thousands of years later, we're still asking, but what if the answer has been hidden in plain sight, in ancient texts forbidden from our holy books? The Book of Enoch hints at a reality far more unsettling than we can imagine. It tells us, no, we were never alone, and once long ago they came down from the heavens. Their arrival was not a blessing, it was a catastrophe, because those who descended were not gods. They were beings who broke the highest law, fallen angels, and their half-divine, half-mortal offspring, the Nephilim. Even today, unexplained giant bones, legends of colossal gods, and mysterious pre-flood civilizations raise a disturbing question. Were the fallen angels real? In this journey, we will descend into forbidden knowledge, suppressed texts, and the shadows of the world's oldest myths. If you're ready, we travel back 30,000 years to the moment heaven touched earth and humanity's destiny was changed forever. Most sacred texts describe angels as perfect beings of light and obedience. But the Book of Enoch tells a different, far more sinister story. It speaks of a group of angels who disobeyed. They were called the Watchers. Their mission was simple: observe humanity, protect them, but never, ever interfere. Yet one day, as the Watchers gazed upon human women, something stirred within them. The text says, "They saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took them for themselves." This was a cosmic crime. Heavenly beings were forbidden from uniting with mortal flesh, but 200 Watchers, led by their leader Semjaza, made a pact, the oath of the descent. They swore, "This sin is great, but if we commit it together, we will share the punishment together." And so, the first great rebellion began. The Watchers descended upon Mount Hermon. That night, the earth trembled. A blinding fire illuminated the peak, and below, humans saw shining beings falling from the sky like burning stars. It was the greatest rupture in pre-human history, and humanity would never be the same again. When the Watchers united with human women, a new race was born. As these children grew, they displayed abilities far beyond human limits. Enoch describes their height as 300 cubits, a staggering figure, nearly 450 feet tall. Whether symbolic or literal, nearly every ancient myth and archaeological mystery speaks of giants with almost identical traits. These hybrid beings were called the Nephilim. The word's origin is debated. Some say it means the fallen ones, others, those who cause men to fall. But one thing is certain, the Nephilim were not human, and soon their hunger became monstrous. The text continues, "The Nephilim consumed all the labor of men. When the people could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind, even one another." The world spiraled into chaos, but the Watchers had done more than just create giants. They had taught humanity forbidden knowledge. They revealed the art of forging weapons, the secrets of sorcery, the cycles of the stars, ritual magic, and the arts of war and seduction. Heavenly secrets were unleashed upon the earth. Humanity was given immense power, but not the wisdom to control it. Strength, but no restraint. The world grew dark, and a final judgment was declared, the Great Flood. One of the greatest mysteries of history is why the Book of Enoch was excluded from most religious canons. Some scholars believe it was an accident, others whisper it was deliberate, because the book contains secrets that could disrupt everything we believe about our past. Among the forbidden teachings of the Watchers was a map of the heavens. They shared advanced astronomical knowledge, star patterns, cosmic cycles, and celestial math, far beyond what ancient humans should have known. They taught ritual magic, techniques involving divine names, astral entities, and spiritual gateways. They revealed the secrets of metallurgy and weapon crafting, the ability to mix metals, forge unbreakable blades, and create impenetrable structures. And perhaps most chillingly, they passed on the engineering of the giants. Look at the massive stone blocks of Baalbek, the impossible geometry of Pumapunku, or the sudden appearance of Göbekli Tepe. These were things humanity was not ready for. Wisdom without maturity leads to destruction, and the Watchers knew it, but they revealed it anyway. Think about it. Nearly every culture on every continent tells stories of a race of giants. Different names, different languages, but the same terrifying beings. In Mesopotamia, they were the Apkallu, half-divine sages who taught forbidden knowledge. In Greece, they were the Titans and Gigantes, born of divine and mortal unions. In Norse mythology, the Jotun were colossal beings who battled the gods. In North America, native tribes spoke of the red-haired giants, massive warriors they fought against. In Peru, we have the Paracas giants with their elongated skulls and enormous frames that defy explanation. Even the Bible speaks of them, the Anakim, the Emim, and the Rephaim, biblical giant races with Goliath being their most famous descendant. All of these threads seem to lead back to a single, terrifying origin, the pre-flood Nephilim. So where is the proof? Researchers argue that some archaeological finds are deeply connected to these stories of giants. Reports from the 1800s and 1900s describe discoveries of skeletons over 10, even 12 feet tall, skeletons that mysteriously vanished from official records. At Pumapunku in Bolivia, we see stones with laser-like cuts and impossible precision. And at Göbekli Tepe, a site twice as old as Stonehenge, we see a sudden explosion of advanced architecture, which was then intentionally and mysteriously buried. Who built these incredible structures? How did they do it? And why? Some researchers suggest humanity didn't do it alone. They had teachers, beings from the sky. A rebellion of this magnitude could not go unpunished. The Book of Enoch describes a terrifying scene, the Watchers being captured and cast into a subterranean prison. God commands his archangels to bind them beneath the mountains in darkness until the day of their judgment. This place has many names across cultures: Tartarus, the abyss, the pit, the void. The Watchers were sealed away from the world, but their forbidden knowledge remained, and so did their children's legacy. The Great Flood was meant to be a reset button for the world, to erase the corruption of the Nephilim. But the Bible contains a single cryptic line that has haunted scholars for centuries. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards. That one phrase changes everything. It implies that some survived, perhaps some returned, perhaps some hid deep beneath the earth, or interbred with humans, diluting their divine bloodline over generations. The myths of giants after the flood, like David and Goliath, or King Og of Bashan, who was said to have an iron bed over 13 feet long, suddenly make a lot more sense. The Nephilim were not completely wiped out. Is it possible their influence is still visible today? Some researchers point to strange anomalies. The Rh-negative blood type, for instance, a genetic marker with mysterious origins that some link to non-human ancestry. There are cases of extraordinary height that cannot be explained by medical conditions alone. And what about all the missing archaeological evidence? The stories of giant bones being seized, hidden, or outright destroyed. Then there are the secret societies, groups that have long claimed descent from ancient sky beings and guard their secret knowledge. And the ley lines, ancient energy centers that form a global grid. Could these sites have been mapped by beings with a higher knowledge of Earth's hidden energies? Fallen angels, Nephilim, forbidden knowledge, ancient ruins, and erased history. They all point to one enormous question. Who are we, really? Do we even know our own history? It seems humanity's origins may be far more complex and far more divine than we've been led to believe. Perhaps we once lived alongside beings from the heavens, Perhaps our earliest civilizations were built not by our own hands, but by theirs. Perhaps myth is not myth at all, but memory. Some truths are too ancient, too deep, and maybe too dangerous. Ancient prophecies, from Enoch to the Book of Revelation, speak of a future moment when the abyss will be opened. The watchers will be released, the gates of heaven will open again, and some believe the Nephilim will rise once more. When we look at the modern world, at the surge in sightings of unexplained aerial phenomena, at stories of strange humanoid creatures and mysterious beings, some say these are the early signs. Perhaps the sky is preparing to open once more. Perhaps they are waiting, watching. And so, we are left with the same question our ancestors asked around their fires so long ago. Are we alone? The most chilling answer may be, no, we never were, and we never will be. Thanks for watching. If this journey into the shadows of our past fascinated you, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next exploration into the unknown. See you next time.